Knowledge versus wisdom. The difference that matters. Many people believe that having knowledge is enough to be successful in life. They think that knowing many facts, reading many books, or having many degrees means they are wise. But there is a quiet truth that lives deep in human experience. Knowledge is not the same as wisdom. In this reflection, we will explore the difference between knowledge and wisdom through stories, gentle lessons, and thoughtful examples. This journey is not about judgment, but about understanding. Let's begin. Chapter 1. What is knowledge? Knowledge is the information we gather. It is what we learn in school from books, videos, and teachers. It is facts, data, and answers. Knowledge helps us pass tests, solve problems, and explain how things work. For example, a person might know the names of all the stars in the sky. They may know the speed of light, how a rocket works, and even how the universe began. That is knowledge. It fills the mind. Knowledge is powerful. It builds bridges, cures diseases, and sends humans to the moon. But knowledge is only a tool. It can be used for good or bad. It needs something more to guide it. That is where wisdom comes in. Chapter 2. What is wisdom? Wisdom is deeper than knowledge. It is not just about facts. It is about how we use those facts. Wisdom comes from experience, reflection, and the heart. It helps us decide what is right, when to speak, when to be silent, and how to treat others. A wise person may not know every detail about a machine, but they know how to work with people. They know when to help and when to step back. They understand that life is not only about answers, but also about asking the right questions. Wisdom often grows slowly. It comes from mistakes, from listening, from watching, and from caring. It is not loud, it is not proud, but it is powerful. Chapter 3. The Book and the Tree. Imagine two people walking in a forest. One has read hundreds of books about trees. They know the Latin names of every plant. They can tell you how tall a tree can grow, how its leaves work, and how its roots take in water. The other person does not know all the names, but they know how to plant a tree, how to care for it, and how to sit quietly under its shade and feel peace. The first person has knowledge. The second has wisdom. Both are valuable. But if the goal is to grow a tree and live with it, wisdom may be more useful. Chapter 4. The Loud Voice and the Quiet One. Knowledge often speaks loudly. It shows itself in debates, arguments, and awards. It wants to be seen and heard. Wisdom speaks softly. It does not need to win. It listens more than it talks. A wise person may sit quietly while others argue, and then say one sentence that brings peace to the room. In a world full of noise, wisdom is the quiet voice that says, "Slow down, think, feel." Chapter 5. Mistakes are the teachers of wisdom. You can gain knowledge by reading, but wisdom often comes through living. When you make a mistake and you take time to understand it, you grow in wisdom. A child touches fire and learns it burns. That is knowledge. But when they understand why they were burned and learn to be careful without fear, that is wisdom. A person who has failed in love and learned to forgive becomes wiser than someone who only reads about relationships. Wisdom is the lesson that stays with the heart. Chapter 6. Knowing others, knowing yourself. Knowledge looks outward. It wants to understand the world. Wisdom looks inward. It wants to understand the self. A person can know everything about history, science, and art, but still not know who they are or how to be kind. Wisdom asks, what kind of person am I? How do I treat people when no one is watching? What do I truly value? Knowing yourself is the first step to wise living. It helps you choose the right path, even when it is difficult. Chapter 7. Knowledge Builds, Wisdom Guides. Think of knowledge as the bricks and tools to build a house. Wisdom is the blueprint. Without wisdom, the house may be big, but it may not be safe or beautiful. In life, many people collect bricks. They earn degrees, gather facts, and build careers. But some do not stop to ask, why am I building this? Is it helping others? Is it bringing peace? Wisdom guides knowledge. It helps us use what we know in ways that bring healing, not harm. Chapter 8. The Elder and the Scholar. A young scholar once visited a village and met an old farmer. The scholar talked about books, science, and theories. The farmer listened with a smile. Then the farmer said, "Let me tell you how I saved a life last winter by watching the sky and listening to the birds." The scholar had never heard such a story. He realized the farmer knew something he didn't: how to read the signs of nature, how to live in harmony, and how to care for others quietly. Wisdom lives in the everyday lives of people who watch, listen, and act with love. Chapter 9. Humility makes room for wisdom. A mind full of pride cannot hold wisdom. Wisdom enters when we are humble enough to say, "I don't know everything. I can learn from anyone." Knowledge can make people feel important. Wisdom reminds us that every person we meet can teach us something. The wise person is always learning, not to show off, but to grow. Chapter 10. Bringing them together. Knowledge and wisdom are not enemies. In fact, they work best together. When knowledge fills the mind and wisdom guides the heart, beautiful things happen. A doctor with wisdom heals not just the body, but also gives comfort. A teacher with wisdom helps students find meaning, not just facts. A leader with wisdom brings people together instead of dividing them. The world needs both smart minds and kind hearts. A quiet path to a meaningful life. As you walk through life, you will collect knowledge. That is good. But remember to also collect wisdom. Listen to stories. Reflect on your actions. Be kind. Be patient. Learn from everyone. Wisdom may not win awards, but it wins hearts. It may not fill books, but it fills lives with meaning. In the end, the wisest people are not always the ones who speak the most, but the ones who live with care, courage, and compassion. Let your life be a balance of knowing and understanding, of thinking and feeling, of learning and loving. That is the quiet power of wisdom.